Good morning, everyone. So this is my thought of the day. I just also wanted to make an announcement that today is Thursday, so I'm going to be at Sanctuary Imports. It's going to be me and Lindsay there today. She is a wonderful Reiki healer, and myself, I'll be doing rune readings. So it's the complete package Thursday. If you have any need, if you want clarity as far as any readings of what's going on in your life, patterns and changes, then by all means come in and see me. If you're looking for a massage to relax, or you're looking for someone to go ahead and help you energetically with a healing, Lindsay will be there as well. I'll be there from 12 to 7, and she'll be there from 12 to 4. So you can come see us at Sanctuary Imports, and I'll make the offer again. If anyone comes in and says that they saw this video, I will go ahead and do a free rune reading that will be for rune of the day, what's most important to focus on. All you gotta do is say you saw the video, and I will go ahead and do the rune reading. So today's thought of the day is actually matching what Angeline O'Bara said with hers as far as her numerology reading. If you don't know her, excellent numerologist. You could find her on Angeline O'Bara, and she'll, and see her profile. Which I asked my husband this morning to help out with what the thought of the day is going to be. And I said, name two things that you got the most out of Nathiel's teachings for the time that you were with him. And one of the first ones he said is when Nathiel confronted him in saying, you're lying, you lied then, you're lying now, and you're going to lie in the future. Accept that you're a liar. And my immediate reaction was, oh, I don't think they're ready for that one. And he encouraged me to explain it, and really go into it. In life, we quite often wear masks. And what I mean by that is I don't present who I am, as far as a person to people. We all do it. We project the image that is going to make us the most acceptable in a situation where we're at. And that means there are times that things are happening that's unacceptable, and we accept them. We don't confront an energy that is unacceptable, and we play the room in order to make the situation socially work. And when we do things like that, Spirit's point of view on that one is they see it from the standpoint of who we truly are, the truth and essence of what we are. And for our part, what do they mean by that? You lied then, you're lying now, and you're going to lie in the future. And that makes you a liar. It means every single time that we don't speak up and be who we truly are, and go with the flow socially so that everything moves and is acceptable, we're denying the truth of what God created. And if we're denying the truth of what God created, then how could we stand in our truth? How could we be in our light? We're purposely taking the telescope and misaligning the lenses so that the image is constantly distorted, constantly doesn't reflect our purpose and what we came here to be, constantly lie to ourselves about what that purpose is so that we could successfully lead a financial life to just survive and get along. What would happen if we actually step within and align those lenses and be perfectly who we are? We say we want synchronicity, points of synchronicity where everything flows in a way that we think it's supposed to, and it's effortless, is us aligning with our purpose, and everything lines up in life. But when we don't do that, things don't align up in life, which Spirit also calls synchronicity, because the message is still the same. Everything continues happening to say the message is that we're unaligned, so it's still synchronicity. But we don't call it synchronicity because we only call it synchronicity when we get what we want. When what we want aligns with purpose, then we call it synchronicity. But synchronicity is always in play. It's never not in play. When you constantly get a no about what you want, it's showing you that you're unaligned. And it's one of the things that I've taken a really deep reflection on as of late, of looking at the word authentic. In the community, you get a lot of people saying, I live my life authentically. What does that really mean? It means that you're aligning yourself to your purpose and that you're saying who you really are. And for me, it's been a step back moment, having been involved with the community now and seeing situations where people only contact me when they want or need something. It's not about who you are, it's what I can gain from you. Watching other people interact with people, not over who they authentically are, but what they can authentically gain from them, from standing next to them. Watching people not honor your space and, having, like, for example, knowing a modality, you do it yourself. It's what you do for a living, but yet you get an invitation to learn how to do it from them because it's about them making money. And it's like, you're not even honoring my authentic space about what it is I do and what I offer. And so there's that need of balancing what it is that you authentically do, but still trying to make it a business. And which comes first? The need for the business or the need for authenticity? And it ultimately comes down to, me having a realization. It's like, well, I mistakenly thought when people say in a group that they are authentically who they are, that they've reached a point where it's not that it's perfection, but you can generally expect them being real with you, that you don't have to shield and protect yourself. And really understanding and seeing that, no, they're just like everybody else doing the best that they can. So what does the seal of authenticity really mean then? Nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's the same thing as people that don't know how to use that word and what that's supposed to represent. People still, it's all about them, you know, and where does it lead you? Back to the same source of expect the worst for people, because at that point you'll be pleasantly surprised when it's not. And that's a horrible place to be. So, and not certainly that I'm perfect with it either. So what is being authentic? How do you live a life living where you are not wearing masks and be who you are and not have to step on people to get what you want, and be able to be in a moment with them and allow, in that sense, authentic, everything aligning for you, synchronicity, to naturally be what your business agent, that you're perfectly aligned with what your purpose is, and people agreeing to be part of that purpose, and business takes care of itself. It's an easy one to lose track of in our daily events for all of us. So the thought of the day is to really take a look and say, what is the truth of you? And really look at doing an inventory. How authentic am I being? There's what I know myself to be, and then there's what I have to do in the outside life. And if what you have to do in the outside life doesn't match authentically then who you are, then consider the fact that you're intentionally misaligning the lenses of your telescope of perception to being. Being can't come through if you're intentionally misaligning your lenses. So what would happen for all of us that say that we want to be authentic, understand the purpose of being authentic, and are making a dedication to living our purpose, if we actually let go of control and allowed purpose to control our lives, that our responsibility in discipline is being in that moment authentically who I am and trusting that everything will align and take care of itself. And how often do we override that to take care of business because we believe it's faster and easier? And what opportunities are we missing, and how are we out of alignment with our purpose? And whether you're in the field, attempting to go ahead and help people, or just living an everyday, ordinary life, which these days there's nothing ordinary about our lives, let's just face it. Take a look at what is the truth. And also take a look at how long we've been trying to make it work based on what we think should happen, and how well has that worked. Because for a lot of us in this new energy coming through, it's getting harder and harder. It's making life more and more impossible. So is it a choice of we come into alignment, or we're going to start losing the energy to keep up with it? And it really comes down to what's your inspiration as far as looking at it. What is your purpose and what do you want? Am I being authentic? Is that my primary focus during the day? Of being in a moment and knowing what to do and what to say. And not competing for resources. Whether it's for attention, whether it's for acceptance, whether it's for someone else's energy because you're taking theirs, whether it's for business, whether it's for all these different things. Can we continue living our life by these practices and principles, and what has it gotten us so far? And so the thought for the day is to look at authenticity and really look at how well are we being authentic. And that again goes for whether you're in the field or out of the field. Because with not being in alignment, then God's will can't flow through. And if God's will's not flowing through, then what are we doing with ours, and what are we creating? Love extends. That's its nature. Spirit says all the time that when you receive something from that energy, that's only part of the gift. You don't actually understand what you received until you successfully give it away to someone else. And that makes sense because that follows the flow and energy of love. Love extends. It's not meant to sit in one source. It's not meant to sit in one space. And I could tell you the way Spirit works when they say they sit within being of that energy. When they come through me, there's always something in there that I need. And by that act of demonstration, it heals another. And by that demonstration, that person heals, and naturally they affect another. And it's emulating the energy that we are actually, in truth, are and exist within. It's a total change of perception and concept. So when Spirit says the teaching, you lied then, you're lying now, and you're going to lie in the future, come into acceptance of the fact that you're a liar. And they also say with that, you're not lying to us. We see the truth of you. You're lying to you. Are we lying? Are we not being truthful about who and what we are? And if we're not, why not? Consider the questions. What has it gotten me so far besides pain, separation, loneliness? And within that feeds the rest of it, the guilt, the shame, all of that. What would happen if we make a decision not to heal this world, but to heal ourselves and stand within that light and be who we truly are? Thought for the day.